Well, you may have read about my next guest in a recent edition of Indianapolis Monthly, Dr. Ted Frantz of the Institute for Civic Leadership and Mayoral Archives, joining me today to elaborate on the treasure that you recently uncovered. Welcome.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thank you.
So some treasures. It sounds fascinating. What are we talking about here?
Many treasures. I think most people hear about archives, they think just about documents, and we have lots of those telling the story of Indianapolis from the time that then young Mayor Richard Lugar was mayor all the way through Bart Peterson, but we also have audio, video, and a lot of artifacts. Those artifacts include things you might expect. We have a lot of shovels, we have a lot of hard hats, keys to city and that kind of thing, but then we also have just kind of items you wouldn't expect. For instance, this tennis ball, which just looks like a random tennis ball.
Is that from the archives?
It's from the archives. I found it in a box, and I said, well, what the heck is this doing in here? Why would something from Bill Hudnut, a random tennis ball, be saved? And then I dug deeper and found the card and said, in 1979, this was the last point of the Clay Court Championships. Jimmy Connors won the match with an overhead smash that Bill Hudnut grabbed, and then he saved it, and it became part of the archives.
Oh, fascinating.
Now, the great thing about that is these stories have been preserved, and we have all kinds of other stories like that in the items that are in our archives.
How did you acquire all this?
Well, this really goes back to a long-standing relationship with the university that then Mayor Lugar and then Bill Hudnut had as well. And all four of the former mayors who are living were trustees of the university at one point in time. And so it's kind of become a natural place for those materials.
Is it on display now?
It's not on display now, but we have raised the funds and have raised enough money to really complete the plans for the library renovation. And the library renovation will house the archives, and then they'll be on display, and we look forward to doing all kinds of really cool things, both physically on the campus and also a lot of it online.
What's the timeline? What do you think, maybe this year?
It's going to take longer than that to do the renovation, but the great part about having a digital component of these materials is that stuff will be up. A subsection of that will be up by the end of this year. Really kind of show off kind of a lot of the key, really cool things that we have in there, whether those are photos of the Colts' arrival to the city, whether this is key Unigov moments, and then there's so many times early in Mayor Lugar's term where you had national politicians coming to Indianapolis. So we have a lot of that material as well.
All right. So it's not going to go anywhere. Once it's open, it's going to stay around for a while?
Oh, it's going to stay around for, I hope, well beyond my lifetime, because there's so many stories in there. And these are things that we think not just people from Indianapolis, but people from the Midwest and the nation and really the world will come to look at these, because the stories that Indianapolis has to tell are unique stories. The items that we have are unique, and that's what's special about an archives. By their very definition, they are unique materials. Nowhere else has them, and we feel really honored to get to be the custodian of those materials.
Oh, fascinating. I can't wait. So quickly, how can we find out more information to keep up to date?
We have a web presence, www.uindy.edu/mayoral. And then we're going to be continuing to have a number of different events. We've been really fortunate to have broad support from our Board of Trustees, Fairbanks Foundation, the Lilly Endowment, and we will be having a number of events, public discussions, where we deal with current politicians as well. So it's not just the materials from the past.
Sounds good.
But the materials as well.
Well, thank you. Can't wait. I'm Taylor Bennett for Comcast Newsmakers.